Let us humble ourselves and pray to God to heal our land. Our faith in God, is an essential part of we story, and we must never neglect to share it. Faith of our fathers, holy faith, we will be true to thee till death. As we gather with friends and family during this day, look for opportunities to tell others about God's goodness. Declare his glory among the nations, his wonderful works among the peoples. For again, without God, we have no story to tell. On the 60th anniversary of our coming together, let us end this day with a renewed sense of self and purpose. As we make our contribution, let us exhibit a renewed consciousness of who we are as a people and what we can do together. A sense of pride about what we have and can achieve together. Let We Story be a source of inspiration, hope, and strength, especially when we are confronted with the challenges we face as a country today. In the face of threat and trouble, We Story can be the catalyst to triumph. I say to you, the book is not closed. We Story is not history. Let us write a new chapter of a people confident in their own abilities, proud of their past, privileged to live in the present, and prepared to face the future. This wealth of knowledge should not be lost, should never go unheard. There is much we can benefit if you and I together keep telling We Story. God bless St. Maarten, and God bless us all.
Make it blow. Think of it, dream of it, in the morning, night and noon. St. Maarten is sweet home, and to it I'll give my life to keep on shining with the sunshine that comes out in the morning. We made a sacrifice to get it where it is now. With our smiling faces, we shared some hard times. Now nobody wanna leave it up to someone who he thinks doesn't know or care about yesterday's and today's hard times we bear. St. Maarten is my home, and I'll do but anything to make it bloom. Think of it, dream of it, in the morning, night and noon. St. Maarten is sweet home, and to it I'll give my life to keep it shining like the sunshine that comes out in the morning.
Happy St. Martin Day to one and all. In 1987, when I started to work for government, I stepped into the office of my then boss, Mr. Louis Duzanzon, and on his wall, actually, he had this particular document. When I saw it, I asked him, "What's that?" He said, "You can read, right?" So when I read it, I said, "Hey, Mr. Duzanzon, that's a time capsule. Where is it?" He said, "At this point in time, it's up to you to figure out where it was." There was a clue on the scroll that actually tells you where it was buried, but it's a very strange clue, and I read it. On this, the 11th day of November, in the year of our Lord, 1975, while the island is celebrating its Discovery Day, this commemorative scroll was prepared and will be set within the walls beneath the seat of the chairman of the Island Council in the Assembly Hall of the Administrative Building of the Island Government of St. Maarten. The clue in itself kind of confused me when it says it was set within the wall, but yet beneath the seat. I walked around that room, walked around the building, hoping I would find some kind of plaque stating where it was, and that went on for actually about 33 years. And after Irma, Mr. Akema approached me and told me, hey, Alphonso, they're going to demolish the building and we have to find the scroll. All I had to help him was 2 photographs of how the Island Council Hall was set up back then. And with those 2 pictures, he left, and he came back the same afternoon and told me, hey, Alphonso, I found it. You really did find it? He said, yes. Where did you find it? And this is how I remember the conversation going. He said when he walked in the legislative hall, he saw 3 columns, and the center column actually had a footing, while the other 2 columns in the corners did not have a footing. So that was his focus point, and he started drilling and jackhammering there, and then they saw what they first saw was the blue paper. That was already an indication stain that there was something there. And then they carefully jackhammered around it, and lo and behold, it was the long-lost time capsule. And he brought it over by the building, and here it is right now. I spent the last few months just hoping for this day to come to finally find out what's in it.
As we go along, Minister.
Okay, this is the Windward Islands opinion, dated November 8th, 1975. And it was volume 17, number 96, and the price was 50 cents. Front page, rafter wetting at school complex. In it were the coins of the day, a 2.5 cent munt van Curaçao, 5 cents, from 1975, Nederlandse Antillen. Then there was a 10-cent piece, entitled, 1 dime is written on it. Oh, this is an American coin from the United States. 25 cents, Nederlandse Antillen, and 1 guilder with the impression of Her Majesty Queen Beatrix on it, and it is from 1971. And a quarter, United States quarter, 1966. In it also is the Constitution of the Netherlands Antilles, regulation for the Governor of the Netherlands Antilles, the Defense Act for the Netherlands Antilles, the Island Regulation of the Netherlands Antilles. Feels rather damp. What is this?
Is the speech given by Dr. Watson on occasion of the signing of the scroll?
Here is the speech given by A.C. Watty on the occasion of the signing of a commemorative scroll as a ceremonial start of the construction of the administration building on the pond field, November 11th, 1975 at 16 hours. Present were the Honorable Prefet of Guadeloupe, Saint Maarten and Saint Barthélemy, the Vice Premier and Minister of Finances of the Netherlands Antilles, Mr. de Kort, the Minister promoting the interest of the Windward Islands and Minister of Transportation and Communications, Mr. Voges, the President of the Parliament of the Netherlands Antilles, Mr. Figueroa, the Lieutenant Governor of the Windward Islands, Mr. Pant, the Honorable Mayor of French Saint Maarten, dignitaries of both French and Dutch administrations, and of course there were ladies and gentlemen. And this is the original commemorative scroll that was signed by the Governor, Mr. Pant, by A.C. Watty, by Joseph Richardson, Sam Hazel, Mr. Nicholson, Mr. Maynard, J.M.G. Everts, A.M. de Kort, and A. Voges. Also, on the other side, it is signed by Schubiers for Promac NV, FC Peters for the Pension Fund of the Netherlands Antilles, and signed also by F. van Romont for the SEL Maduro and Sons Incorporated. That's it. Yeah. So those are the items that were in the scroll. There's also a key that was attached to the scroll, but we haven't been able to find what this key will unlock. It certainly will unlock the future, but we are not sure what it will unlock. Before you stands the new time capsule that's going to be buried in a short while across the street in front of the new government administration building. And I'm not sure what all we have put in it. Would you be able to tell us, Ms. Reis?
Protocol haven't been established. I'll just simply go down the list. Basically, we requested of every ministry to submit one item that they feel would encapsulate something profound and significant of this time. It was not limited to this date or this year, but we felt that we wanted them to select something that was profound to them and their ministry. And every ministry was able to submit one item, and I can read a list. Here goes. From the Ministry of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, we have the booklet from the Creative Industries. We felt it very important to include a CD by former head of the department, Neville York. A DVD called Back in the Day, a historical movie of St. Maarten. The launch of the inventory, the ICH list. The Integrated Cultural Policy Framework. From Finance, we have the letter to CFT, dated October 10, 2018. We also include a map of the general audience that was signing over the last 2 days. the flamboyant tree that everyone just signed from Miss Ruby Butte, a cigar from the harbor, plus documents. From Justice, we have various newsletters covering 2019 and yes. From Parliament, a clock. We have 2 motions, a picture, a pin, also a sign map, a calendar year. From Sports, Brown Pelican Awards, a retrospect of the 4 years. Study financing the 20th anniversary proclamation with Tallahassee. An Adviesblad Landverordening Study Financing from January 31st, 2019. An anchor from the USB, from the cruise port. UNESCO submitted, like I said, the ICH list. VROMI, a stick with several information documents. From WSA, Landverordening Algemene Ziektekostenverzekering. A letter, another Landverordening Algemene, Ziekte en Verzekering, Ziektekostenverzekering. Youth Affairs Action Plan. Address by the Minister of January 24th, and the MOU for Children's Rights. These will...
And also the 2 first inscriptions from St. Martin.
And the first, Alphonso?
Okay. And the 2 first inscriptions from St. Martin on the UNESCO Memory of the World Heritage List, the International Heritage List and the Regional Heritage List.
At this point in time, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to invite on stage His Excellency, Mr. Dr. Anders Eugene Holiday, Governor of St. Martin. I'd also like to invite on stage Chairman of Parliament, the Honorable Mr. William Marlin. Our Prime Minister and Minister of Education is already here. I'd also like to invite the Honorable Mr. Perry Hearlings, who is our Minister of Finance and Acting Minister of Justice. The Honorable Mr. Stuart Johnson, who is the Minister of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transportation and Telecommunication. And the Honorable Mr. Christopher Waver, who is Minister of Public Housing, Environment, Spatial Development and Infrastructure, and Acting Minister of Public Health, Social Development and Labor. At this point in time, these folks will be signing the new scroll that will go into the time capsule today.
Today, Monday, the 11th of November of the year 2019, St. Martin, St. Martin are observing the 60th anniversary of the St. Martin, St. Martin Day celebrations. As one people, faithful to the vision of Dr. Claude Watty and Dr. Hubert Petit in 1959. We, the Governor, Chairman of Parliament, and the Ministers of St. Martin, sign this document and add another set of documents, pictures, and items as content of a container. This container we bury under the floor of the entrance to the Government Administration Building, Sualiga Road, number 1, Pawn Island, as a contribution to the heritage of the future people of St. Martin, St. Martin. The content is a snapshot of that which the administration of St. Martin is busy with on this day. The Governor, each ministry, and Parliament have contributed to the content of the container with the objective to give a varied picture of the status quo of the government of St. Martin. It is our intention that this container, once opened on the 11th of November, 25 years in the future, will provide some insight to the finders in how life on St. Martin was in the early 21st century. May those living on St. Martin in this future do so in peace, harmony, and prosperity in an inclusive society that respects its environment, its tangible and intangible cultural heritage. May they still be listening to the voice of the elders to guide them, and may their words and actions find favor with God. And it will be signed by His Excellency, Mr. Dr. Anders Eugene Holiday, Governor of St. Martin, the Honorable Mr. William Marlin, Chairman of Parliament, the Honorable Wycliffe Smith, Prime Minister, Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, the Honorable Mr. Perry Geerlings, Minister of Finance, Acting Minister of Justice, the Honorable Mr. Stuart Johnson, Minister of Tourism, Economic Affairs, Transportation and Telecommunication, and the Honorable Mr. Christopher Weaver, Minister of Public Housing, Environment, Spatial Development and Infrastructure, Acting Minister, Public Health, Social Development and Labor. May I call the distinguished gentleman to come forward, starting with His Excellency, the Governor.
So before we put the final documents, we have from the Governor, Dr. Anders Eugene Holiday, his speech of today dedicated to the future generations. We have a little sneak in by Chief of Cabinet, Mr. Peter J., his badge. And as we have no Sunday or Monday newspaper, the Saturday newspaper, so we're backwards in time. So that would be the ultimate final entry, right?
and to it I'll give my life to keep on shining with the sunshine that comes out in the morning. We made a sacrifice to get it where it is now. With our smiling faces, we shared some hard times. Now nobody wanna leave it up to someone who he thinks doesn't know or care about yesterday's and today's hard times we bear. St. Martin is my home, and I'll do but anything to make it bloom. Think of it, dream of it, in the morning, night and noon. St. Martin is sweet home, and to it I'll give my life to keep it shining like the sunshine that comes out in the morning. And when I look around, it's one island, one people, one destiny. And when I look around me, one island, one people, one destiny. We gotta come together.
Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, fellow St. Martiners, every November 11th, St. Martin's Day is a time of joy and of sharing for all of the St. Martiners. It is an opportunity to come together to celebrate the traditions on which is based our shared identity and to showcase the richness of our culture and traditions. Our patronal celebration was built on the values of solidarity initiated by Saint Martin of Tours. The act of generosity of this man of faith, who illustrated himself in the 4th century by offering the linen of his coat to a homeless person, is deeply rooted in our collective memory. He defines who we are, a supportive, welcoming, and generous people. Our unity around the great symbols of equality and fraternity, we owe it also to the Treaty of Concordia signed in March 1648. This treaty, which sealed our binational friendship, abolished the trade borders between North and South, and facilitated our trade for more than 371 years. It is an exceptional longevity which must be emphasized. But far beyond the commercial stakes, it is a fraternal and family bond that we have maintained for nearly 400 years. This unity is what makes the singularity and attractiveness of Saint-Martin. While at the international level, the whole world is undergoing severe social changes, our island and our society are not spared. In St. Martin, some of the most profound changes are the results of Hurricane Irma, which has changed the social and economic landscape. In this context, it is important for me to convey to you a message of solidarity. I have to tell you, with all the frankness you know me, that we must join forces to preserve the unity dearly bought by our ancestors, and which is still important for the St. Martiners. St. Martin, land of welcome and of openness, finds itself threatened at the very core of its fundamental values.
60 years ago, the founding fathers of St. Martin Day, Dr. Hubert Petit, Claude Watty, and Clem Labega, conceived of this day as a celebration of the people, by the people, and for the people. They saw it as a coming together of the St. Martin people with no interference from any quarters, as we would say, in the spirit of jollification. Unfortunately, that whole idea has been hijacked. And this is what Dr. Petit had to say about what has happened. And I quote, "Gradually, the colonial authorities, took over the celebration of St. Martin Day, and they changed everything. We St. Martin people believed we had a day belonging to us, but in reality, they took it back from us. The spirit that existed at that time, day, belonging to us, but in reality, they took it back from us. The spirit that existed at that time does not exist anymore. At that time, it just had a small population, and we all were St. Martin people. We knew each other, and we celebrated happily." End of quote. Dr. Petit was speaking on a televised interview with Elton Richardson of St. Martin in Retrospect program many reigns ago. But his words apply just as much today, or probably even more so. It is very clear that originally St. Martin's Day was the people's feast. Unity is what we were supposed to be celebrating, not the division of the island. Familyhood is what we were celebrating, not foreign wars. It is the oneness of our people that we are celebrating, because as Lena Hughes, one of our very own, sang, "We are one island, one people, with one destiny." Our ancestors never recognized any frontiers. That is the legacy they left us. Another legendary St. Martiner, Félix Choisy, understood this very well when he famously said, "The gale does not stop at the frontier." It never did, as Louis, Irma, and all the rest of the storms have reminded us. And it never will. That is why on a day like this, there should be no hyphens, no slashes in our name. It should not be St. Martin, St. Martin Day. This emphasizes our division, not our unity. It should be simply St. Martin Day. We have been saying this for years. The true spirit of St. Martin Day should not die after we have delivered all the sweet-sounding speeches on November 11th, as we do today again. To be frank, I even wonder at times if our annual official speechifying is not superfluous in a climate in which we allow the original idea to be transformed into an event that marks the supremacy of our colonial ties.
We are a resilient people, appreciating life's blessings and making the best memories of what we have each day. The next generation will write about celebrations like today and embrace them as fond childhood memories and a part of their heritage that will be passed on to their children. We Story is a dynamic novel with contributions by many persons from the North and the South, from regional as well as internationally. We honor those who laid the foundation and pioneered the proclamation of We Story. Many of them have gone on to join our ancestors, but their names are immortalized in St. Martin's history. We recognize the efforts of Dr. Claude Watty and Dr. Hubert Petit for officially establishing St. Martin's Day 60 years ago. Fast forward to today, we want to pay homage to a few of our stalwarts who departed this life just this year, like Daniela Jeffrey, Addie Richardson, and Cassandra Debbie Gibbs. We celebrate their lives. While they will be missed, they will not be forgotten. We Story is emancipation, self-governance, and autonomy. Should this generation write the chapter on independence, our Maarten must draw on the strength of Hualichi, on the efficacy of Suhaliga, and on the innovation of our combined energies to bring our nation to the next level of We Story. Each man, woman, boy, and girl, civilian and civil servant, the electorate and the elected must play his or her part responsibly and passionately. May the world come to know the greatness of St. Maarten and We Story. May God bless our island nation, and happy St. Maarten Day.
Saint-Martin est une île singulière des Caraïbes, singulière par sa géographie, singulière aussi par son histoire. Depuis 1648, notre île est partagée entre deux nations, deux États souverains, un gouvernement autonome au sein des royaumes des Pays-Bas et une collectivité d'outre-mer, une collectivité territoriale d'outre-mer de la République française. Ces deux territoires sont liés par une histoire commune, une histoire heureuse, riche d'entraide et de fraternité. Ainsi, le traité de Concordia, qui pose le principe d'un respect mutuel, d'une coopération et d'un partage des ressources. Une histoire parfois douloureuse aussi. Ainsi, avons-nous affronté ensemble les mêmes catastrophes, la dernière étant Irma. Nous pouvons nous féliciter des avancées et des progrès réalisés dans la coopération opérationnelle. Ceux-ci sont le fruit de contacts et d'échanges réguliers qu'il nous appartient mutuellement d'entretenir. Le thème choisi pour ces célébrations de 2019, We Story, notre histoire, illustre pleinement ce parcours commun. Mais nous devons aussi évoquer l'avenir, car nous devons l'écrire à deux mains. Nous en serons comptables devant les générations futures. Cette année, nous célébrons la 60e édition des Fêtes conjointes de la Saint-Martin. Pour l'équilibre de l'île, il est impératif que les deux territoires restent attractifs et offrent les mêmes opportunités d'avenir à nos populations, à notre jeunesse en particulier. Notre bonne santé économique respective est vitale et c'est la raison pour laquelle nous devons travailler sur les mêmes enjeux. Un partenariat régulier nous a permis de faire naître des accords en matière de gestion de crise et de sécurité publique, notamment. Il s'agit de protéger la population de Saint-Martin dans son ensemble et d'harmoniser nos réponses pour une plus grande efficacité et une meilleure résilience. Les travaux doivent se poursuivre et les sujets de préoccupation ne manquent pas. Il nous faudra aborder la prévention des risques naturels qui nous menacent grandement, mais aussi d'autres sujets comme une gestion durable, les risques phytosanitaires, l'éducation, la santé. En France, le 11 novembre est le jour anniversaire de l'armistice de 1918. C'est un moment de communion nationale, de respect pour ceux qui, au péril de leur vie, nous ont permis de vivre libres, de célébration de la paix. Les habitants de l'île de Saint-Martin vivent en paix depuis longtemps et nous pouvons nous féliciter de ce savoir-vivre ensemble qui résiste au temps. Je souhaite, en ce jour de recueillement et de festivité, mettre l'accent sur l'immense responsabilité qui est la nôtre, celle de transmettre à nos enfants ces valeurs de partage et de respect mutuel. Nous devons leur servir de modèle par les accords que nous saurons trouver à chaque fois que nécessaire à l'échelle de notre territoire.
Today, November 11th, 2019, we gather to mark the 60th anniversary of the official joint celebration of St. Martin's Day. Today we come together as brothers and sisters from North and South to celebrate our oneness based on the founding idea of Dr. Hubert Petit and Claude Watty. Today is thus our celebration of our St. Martin story. Every year, we start our celebration with the pleasant greeting, Happy St. Martin's Day. It is a profound greeting, a greeting that reflects the story of the St. Martin's people and spirit, a spirit of community, resilience, and unity. It is the source of our kindness, solidarity, generosity, and determination towards our common happiness and well-being. These, my brothers and sisters, are the values that have shaped our St. Martin way for generations. This morning, amid our St. Martin's Day greeting, we began our observance of our 60th St. Martin's Day anniversary with a joint church service at the Phillipsburg Methodist Church in appreciation of God's blessings and to seek His continued grace and guidance for us as a people and for our island. I was pleased to inspect our uniformed men and women in appreciation of their selfless service towards the maintenance of our cherished law and order. We laid wreaths at the Cold Bay Bellevue Border Monument in recognition of our shared heritage and as inspiration for our common future. And we prepared a time capsule in acknowledgement of our obligations to future generations of St. Martiners. My fellow St. Martiners, I highlighted our actions as a reminder of the significance of our St. Martin's Day celebration and as a reflection. It is a shared moment in our continued obligation to perfect our St. Martin story together. It is my hope that you are enjoying our St. Martin's Day celebration with family and friends in good St. Martin tradition, and that you will take time to reflect on your continued contributions to our St. Martin story. Our St. Martin story is a story of overcoming seemingly insurmountable challenges. Over the years, our island transitioned from Sualiga to St. Martin, and from salt and agriculture to tourism. As a people, we triumphed over slavery with emancipation in the mid-1800s. We built a buoyant tourism economy in the latter half of the 20th century. We expanded the areas of Phillipsburg, Marigot, and Simpson Bay by reclaiming land in the Great Salt Pond, the Marigot Bay, and the Simpson Bay Lagoon. We recovered from the devastation of 7 hurricanes in the second half of the 1990s, and we achieved significant constitutional reforms in the first decade of this century. My fellow St. Martiners, as we review these major accomplishments in our history, the question that arises is, what will the next major chapter be in our story? What will the next major chapter be in our story? As we observe this 60th St. Martin's Day anniversary, in view of the current challenges of climate change, socio-economic recovery needs, and stable governance, reminded that the accomplishments I mentioned only give a snapshot of our evolving St. Martin story. We are reminded that these accomplishments did not just happen. Our story has passed down orally from generation to generation, and as recorded in our calypso songs, our paintings, our poetry, and our history books, is the legacy of the hard work, sweat, and sacrifices of our parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents. The task before us today, therefore, is to build on their legacy. It is to write a new chapter in pursuit of perfecting our St. Martin story. This in the face of, again, seemingly insurmountable challenges. My fellow St. Martiners, the writing of our new chapter must start with our recommitment to stable governance. This to provide the foundation and leadership to fuel needed investments in excellence in education, investments in excellence in healthcare, investments in the protection of our land and our heritage, investments in sustainable waste management solutions, investments in climate change resilience, and investments in the revitalization of our economy. Successive generations of St. Martiners have fulfilled their tasks, guided by a spirit of community, resilience, and unity in purpose for St. Martin. Anchored in my faith in our people, therefore, on this 60th anniversary of the celebration of our St. Martin story, trust that we will embrace these core St. Martin qualities and write a new chapter towards perfecting our St. Martin story. To close, we are, in this regard, encouraged by the following messages of our Calypsonians about our St. Martin story. While we may be brokes again, as rendered by King Bobo, we have a shared obligation to invest in building a model nation as recommended by the mighty BREATH, an investment which is necessary to maintain our legacy that St. Martin is still the best, as sung and affirmed by the mighty Dow. My fellow St. Martiners, carrying on our legacy is a task, an obligation which we can only fulfill together. Let's start doing that. And may this 60th St. Martin's Day celebration therefore serve as an inspiration for our continued perfecting of our St. Martin story. Happy St. Martin's Day. Thank you, God bless you, and may God bless St. Martin and protect his coast.